Hey there, this is Matt from Truth or Tease. Check out my website at truthertease.com or truthertease.net. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about fluoride, what it is, and how it's a poison and how it's put in the municipal water supply of just about every major city in the United States. Unless, of course, you've had it petitioned to be removed from your city water supply, and in some cases it actually has. I'm going to give you a little bit more of a scientific explanation of what it is and where it's found in other places other than just the water supply. So here we go. Fluoride is of the anion F, the reduced form of fluorine when as an ion and when bonded to another element. Both organofluorine compounds and inorganic fluorine-containing compounds are called fluorides. Fluoride, like other halides, is a monovalent ion with a -1 charge. Its compounds often have properties that are distinct relative to other halides structurally and to some extent chemically. The fluoride ion resembles the hydroxide ion. Fluorine-containing compounds range from potent toxins such as sarin to life-saving pharmaceuticals such as the effervescence, and from inert materials such as sulfur hexafluoride to the highly reactive chlorine trifluoride. The range of fluorine-containing compounds is vast because fluorine is capable of forming compounds with all the elements except helium and neon. There is a natural occurrence of it. Many fluoride minerals are known, but of paramount commercial importance are fluorite and fluorapatite. Fluoride is usually found naturally in low concentration in drinking water and foods. The concentration in seawater averages 1.3 parts per million. Freshwater supplies generally contain anywhere between 0.1 to 0.3 parts per million, whereas the ocean contains between 1.2 and 1.5 parts per million. In some locations, the fresh water contains dangerously high levels of fluoride, leading to serious health problems. Here is a website where I found some of this information that was created by a chemical engineer by the name of Floyd Maxwell. He received his credentials from the University of British Columbia in 1984 and has devoted over 10 years to the study of fluoride. You can access his website, which I will include in the description underneath this video. So fluoride. Who uses it? Fluoride is in use by many governments of the world, including our own. It is also in use by many different industries, including but not limited to chemical companies, pharmaceutical companies, county and state governments for use in their water supply, food companies, alcohol companies, and cigarette companies as well. Where it can be found other than water is toothpaste in tap water, which is why most people say that tap water is extremely bad for you, but most people don't really realize why it's so bad. It can be found in infant formula, processed cereals, mass-produced juices, soda, instant teas, wine, beer, mechanically deboned chicken, Teflon pans, fluoridated salt, anesthetics, Enflurane, Isoflurane, and Sevoflurane, and cigarettes. This is the website that I used in citing where fluoride is found and what it's used in. Now, I must stop here for some real quick commentary. So far, I have given you some information on fluoride and some of its uses. In the information that I have provided so far for you, you can honestly see that fluorine is a poison and a contaminant to some food in a majority of publicly used water systems, and a large host of other items and foods. You might ask yourself why. The answer to that question, and this is my opinion of course, is that it's being used as a form of eugenic population control. Hitler used fluoride in mass quantities to poison the Jews during the Holocaust. That I just throw that in there. You will probably say that this kind of talk is crazy and not based on theory, but the more research you do on this chemical compound, the scarier the results will be for you. There is purportedly one good use for fluoride, and is supposedly being used, uh, and I have listed it below, and you can find that in the description as well, and that is for cavity prevention. But once you continue reading into the section of the information that I've included on the negative effects of fluoride use, I think you will agree that negative effects far outweigh the good ones. Fluoride-containing compounds are used in topical and systemic fluoride therapy for preventing tooth decay. They are used for water fluoridation and in many products associated with oral hygiene, such as toothpaste. Originally, sodium fluoride was used to fluoridate water, which is hexafluorosilicic acid, and its salt sodium hexafluorosilicate are more commonly used additives, especially in the United States. The fluoridation of water is known to prevent tooth decay and is considered by the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention as one of the 10 great public health achievements of the 20th century. In some countries where large centralized water systems are uncommon, fluoride is delivered to the populace by fluoridating the table saw. So as you can see, it is present in other countries as well. If it's not in the water, it's in the salt. Negative effects. Before I go into listing some of the known side effects and fatal conditions that have been linked to fluoride exposure, I'm going to provide a couple of different websites that prove that it is being used in our water system. This is the CDC's Center for Disease and Control and Prevention Fluoridation Census of 2008, the link which I will include in the description. The CDC, which is a government organization that is tasked with monitoring and preventing the spread of disease, openly admits that it uses fluoride in the water system. This next website that I'm going to plug is a website that will give you the ability to see if your state, county, or country is using fluoride or if they have rejected or stopped using it. Now, to some of the reported known negative side effects of fluoride exposure. Is number one, risk to the brain. According to the National Research Council, fluoride can damage the brain. Animal studies conducted in the 1990s by EPA scientists found dementia-like effects at the same concentration of 1 parts per million used to fluoridate water, while human studies have found adverse effects on IQ at levels as low of 0.9 parts per million among children with nutrient deficiencies and 1.8 parts per million among children with adequate nutrient intake. It is also a risk to the thyroid gland. According to the NRC, fluoride is an endocrine disruptor. Most notably, the NRC has warned that doses of fluoride achievable by drinking fluoridated water may reduce the function of the thyroid among individuals with low iodine intake. Reduction of thyroid activity can lead to loss of mental acuity, depression, and weight gain. Is a risk to the bones. According to the NRC, fluoride can diminish bone strength and increase the risk for bone failure. While the NRC was unable to determine what level of fluoride is safe for bones, it is noted that the best available information suggests that fracture risk may be increased at levels as low as 1.5 parts per million, which is only slightly higher than the concentration of 0.7 to 1.2 parts per million added to water fluoridation. Risk for bone cancer. Animal studies, including a recent study from a team of Harvard scientists, have found a connection between fluoride and a serious form of bone cancer in males under the age of 20. The connection between fluoride and osteocarcinoma, pretty sure I didn't pronounce that right, has been described by the National Toxicology Program as biologically plausible. Up to half of adolescents who develop this disorder die within a few years of diagnosis. There's a risk to kidney patients. People with kidney disease have heightened susceptibility to fluoride toxicity. The heightened risk stems from an impaired ability to excrete fluoride from the body. As a result, toxic levels of fluoride can accumulate in the bones, intensify the toxicity of aluminum buildup, and cause or exacerbate a painful bone disease known as renal osteodystrophy. Fluoride may lower IQ. There have been 24 studies from China, Iran, India, Mexico that have reported an association between fluoride exposure and reduced IQ. One of these studies, Lin Fa Fu in 1991, indicates that even just moderate levels of fluoride exposure, as low as 0.9 parts per million in water, can exacerbate the neurological defects of iodine deficiency. In the absence of iodine deficiency, another research team estimated that fluoride may lower IQ at 1.9 per million. While a recent preliminary study found a lowering of IQ in children drinking water levels at ranging from anywhere from 0.3 parts per million to 3 parts per million. The authors of this latter study reported that for each increase of 1 part per million fluoride measured in the urine, there was a loss of 0.59 IQ points. None of these studies indicated as an adequate margin of safety to protect all children drinking artificially fluoridated water from this effect. According to the National Research Council, 2006, the consistency of the results in fluoride IQ studies appears significant enough to warrant additional research on the effects of fluoride on intelligence, except for an early and small IQ study from New Zealand. No fluoridating country has investigated the matter for themselves. Fluoride affects the pineal gland. Studies by Jennifer Luke show that fluoride accumulates in the human pineal gland to very high levels. In her PhD thesis, Luke has also shown in animal studies that fluoride reduces melatonin production and leads to other earlier onset of puberty. Consistent with Luke's findings, one of the earliest fluoridation trials in the U.S., Schlesinger, 1956, reported that on average young girls in the fluoridated community reached menstruation 5 months earlier than girls in non-fluoridated communities. Inexplicably, no fluoridating country has attempted to reproduce either Luke's or Schlesinger's findings or examine the issue any further. Fluoride causes arthritic symptoms. Some of the early symptoms of skeletal fluorosis, fluoride-induced bone and joint disease that impacts millions of people in India, China, and Africa, mimic the symptoms of arthritis. According to a review on fluoridation published in Chemical and Engineering News, because some of the clinical symptoms mimic arthritis, the first 2 clinical phases of skeletal fluorosis could be easily misdiagnosed. Few, if any, studies have been done to determine the extent of this misdiagnosis and whether the high prevalence of arthritis in America, 1 in 3 Americans have some form of arthritis, in other fluoridated countries is related to growing fluoride exposure, which is highly plausible. Even when individuals in the U.S. suffer advanced forms of skeletal fluorosis from drinking large amounts of tea, it has taken years of misdiagnoses before doctors finally correctly diagnosed the condition as fluorosis. Fluoride may also cause reproductive problems. Fluoride administered to animals at high doses wreaks havoc on the male reproductive system. It damages sperm and increases the rate of infertility in a number of different species. In addition, an epidemiological study from the U.S. found increased rates of infertility among couples living in areas with 3 parts per million or more fluoride in the water. 2 studies have found a reduced level of circulating testosterone in males living in high fluoride areas. And a study of fluoride-exposed workers reported a subclinical reproductive effect, while animal studies by FDA researchers have failed to find evidence of reproductive toxicity in fluoride-exposed rats, the National Research Council has recommended that the relationship between the fluoride and fertility requires additional study. For the full 50 different reasons against fluoride, you can visit the website, which I will put in the description. There's way too many descriptions to read them all here, and I will put those in the descriptions. I don't want to leave you without a couple of possible solutions. One is relatively inexpensive, the other a bit pricey, but both good solutions. I personally bought my water purifier system from a company called Big Berke. My system is called the Berke Light. It is the only blue plastic system on the website. The water filtration system they sell does not filter fluoride in the regular system. They do, however, sell fluoride filters that you can attach to your system like I have. What their system does filter is other heavy metals, excess chlorine, the many bacteria found in public drinking water, and a wide range of other toxins that are harmful that are also found in drinking water. You can visit Big Berke's website and do some more research and get information for yourself. I'll put the website in the description. Another website that you can go to is called New Gen Water Filtration Systems. Both of these ways of going about fluoride removal are really good. You can also switch to spring water. You can get spring water at your local grocery store, or like I have just recently, I found a natural spring close to where I live in New York State, and I was able to go and fill up water for free, as the town doesn't charge to use the spring water system. I don't want to leave you with a total negative outlook as far as this video. Sometimes the truth can be painful to hear. I do love comedians, and one of my favorite comedians is Louis Black. He's a Jewish comedian. He's in his 60s, maybe early 70s at this point. And this is just a small little clip from one of his CDs where he actually talks about water and health. All right. Thanks for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, don't forget to visit my website, truthertees.com. That's T-E-E-Z, not with an S, .com or .net. Thanks, and have a good rest of your night.
We even destroyed water in this country. It's the essence of life. Simplest thing that we have in terms of our health, and we destroyed it. When I was a kid, water was a very simple thing. When I was 9 and I was thirsty, I would go to the sink, and with my little cup, I'd get some water. And then I'd drink it. And then I'd go outside and play. God damn, life was wonderful. Can't do that anymore. Because most communities, in order to save money, stop cleaning their water as properly as they should. I tour all the time, and in some cities, you turn that water on and you go, fuck, I can't light a match in here. And so we're now saving all that money from the water that we used to pay for. It was our water, really free water. We said, we'll save the money. And what we'll do is we'll use that money to buy water in bottles. We buy bottles of water now. We buy bottles of water from Pepsi and Coke. Because if anybody knows water, it's fucking Pepsi and Coke. We buy spring water. Has anybody seen a spring? I don't fucking think so. You drink spring water, and you've never fucking seen the spring it came from. It says spring, and you go, that must be good. Deer Park water? Fuck Deer Park. There's a picture of a deer. I don't want a deer pissing and shitting in my water. I'll tell you what a spring is. It's a guy in Pittsburgh in his bathtub filling those fucking bottles. And as soon as water stopped being free, they said that in order for us to be healthy, we should be drinking 8 bottles of water a day. When it was nothing, it was like, oh, fuck, take a sip. Now it's like it costs, so fucking chug, you prick. 8 bottles of water a day, imagine that. Son of a bitch. That's like a fucking homework assignment. How many bottles did I drink? Fuck, I forgot. 56 bottles a week. I need a goddamn burro to carry this shit around with me. And if you don't drink 56 bottles of water a week, scientists say that you should take a garden hose at the end of the week and shove it up your ass. People actually, in Minneapolis, in New York City where I live, in every major urban area, will leave their apartments with a giant bottle of water. And they won't leave their apartment without it. If they forget it, they have to run back in and get it. They have a giant bottle of water walking into the city of Minneapolis as if they were crossing the fucking Mojave. What if I never see water again? Some doctors, however, have discovered in their own tests that they feel that many of us are drinking too much water. And as a result, we're now pissing away proper nutrients and minerals. By your silence and tension, some of you are fucked, aren't you? You hadn't read that. You had your little bottles of water lined up for tomorrow. And now you're thinking, well, maybe 5.